Hello everyone, welcome to Tanka Talks. In part 1, we compared UPS and NPS in terms of contributions, withdrawals, pensions, and key insights. In this video, we are going to a step further, looking at long-term benefits and what works best for you. So stay tuned till end of video. I have also shared a sample Excel sheet in the description below, so you can plug your own numbers and see the comparison for yourself. Let's get started. This is the Excel where we have to feed all these details to get the approximate final corpus and the final pension in both the schemes. Let's go one by one feed. Date of birth, suppose if we enter 12th August 1990 and the date of joining. Date of joining into government service if we enter 12th November 2020 and the current basic pay of the government employee assuming 36,500 and the current DA is 0.55 55%, so that's why I entered 0.55 and DA increment, so I'm keeping it as a 3 and you can keep 2, 3, 4 yearly increment, so more or less our yearly increment is 3% and NPS account, this value of your holdings, this field has to be kept mandatorily. This is the initial capital for calculating retirement corpus or the pension numbers. So how to get this field is like every NPS subscriber will get monthly transaction statements. If you could see in that monthly transaction statement, there will be a one table which is investment summary. In this investment summary table, value of our holdings. This is taken as of March 2025. You can take a recent month which is May 2025. So this is the number. This includes both your contribution plus government contribution plus the returns. So this is the capital as of that month transaction summary. So this is 639084. So expected fitment factor, so pay commission to pay commission fitment factor will change. So I'm just keeping a DSET number which is 1.67 and all. You can keep any number, but when you are keeping it, just keep reasonable number. And expected annuity returns. Regarding this annuity returns, we have discussed in part 1. You can keep between 4 to 6%. So for now I'm keeping 6%. So total contribution in your account as on last month end date. So this is required to get the total investment what we have done it from our end. So even if it is not fed also, that is fine. I'll show you how to take this number in the same investment summary table. This is the total contribution field, so which is 538428. So the next field is discount rate for inflation. I kept this field to calculate the present value of future money. For example, if someone is getting 1 crore at the time of a retirement as a corpus, what is the present value of that money? So it is generally between 4 to 6% because India's inflation has averaged between 4 to 6% for the past 20 to 25 years. So I am taking 4.5%. And then next thing is at the time of retirement we can expect our average basic pay. So probably if I expect the average basic pay to be nearly 2,50,000, so I can feed this number. But if we are not sure of what would be our average basic pay, you can leave this field. So it will calculate based on expected fitment factor. Either one of the thing has to be filled, this row or this row. If both are filled, this would be given a preference to calculate the pension. So coming to returns, in both the schemes will give some returns. So right now I am feeding around 8% in both the schemes. And here I'm just expecting UPS will give little lesser returns comparatively to NPS, since UPS is a hybrid scheme. And once you feed all these fields, if you want to check, you can check the retirement details towards the right of this Excel. So this is the retirement date. This is calculated based on 60 years of age. So for those people who has retirement age is more than 60 years, you can feed your retirement date manually, or if you need any help, you can comment in the comment box. I will help you how to do that. And these three fields are calculated for the calculation purpose. You can see this field if you want. These are self-explanatory. And then coming to the second table, so most of us will not be in the same level till our retirement. We would be eventually moving to higher levels due to promotion or due to MSCP. If someone wants to check the pay from the promotion also, you can actually keep the date and basic pay D on promotion. But just one thing to be noted here is, from promotion or MSCP, the contribution towards NPS and UPS would be more than the before promotion or before MSCP. So while you are feeding these details, it has to be reasonably fed so that the contribution would be more than the before promotion. So even if you are not feeding also, this is fine. Once you have entered all the details, the key part begins: calculating and comparing both NPS and UPS benefits. These fields under NPS and UPS are auto-calculated. No input is required. All these fields are self-explanatory. So investment per month, which is 24% in NPS and 20% in UPS. And you can go through these fields. So approximate final capital in NPS is nearly 2 crore 57 lakhs, and in UPS is nearly like 2 crore 22 lakhs. And here difference and percentage difference is also given, and approximate present value of this final corpus in NPS is nearly 67 lakhs, and at the same time, like for UPS is 58 lakhs. And there is a lump sum concept in UPS. You people already know like what is lump sum, which is 1/10 of last 12 months of average basic pay plus DA would be given for every 6 months of service. So this subscriber, if subscriber opts for UPS, this person will get more or less 14 lakhs plus DA at the time of a retirement. And in both the schemes, subscriber can withdraw up to 60% of corpus. If the 60% of corpus is withdrawn, this is the value in the NPS and this is the value in the UPS. And in NPS, 40% of corpus would be kept for annuity returns. So in the annuity returns, which is a 6% we have given in the above fields. So if we take more or less 6%, like which is 51,000 pension will get at the time of a retirement. So in UPS, if the subscriber is not opting to take any corpus at the time of a retirement, he would be eligible for complete pension. If at all, if he has withdrawn, if 60% is withdrawn, so out of a 40% corpus, this is the pension value. If you see the comparison of the pension, see here this person would get nearly 50,000 at the time of a retirement if the 60% of corpus is withdrawn. In UPS, this pension at the time of a retirement corresponds to expected 12 months of average basic pay at the time of a retirement. What we have fed here is 2,50,000. What I am expecting for this subscriber is based on promotions and based on pay commissions. This subscriber may reach between 2 lakh to 2,50,000 basic pay. We have fed 2,50,000. Let us see if we feed 2 lakhs. So the pension amount will change in UPS. Whereas in NPS, the pension would be same. This also would be subjected to change based on the annuity rates. And in UPS, dearness relief on the pension also would be given. If we see his retirement, his or her retirement, which is in 2015. By that time, if pay commissions comes, DNS relief would be nearly 15 to 20%. So we need to take that 15 to 20% account also to get the pension actual number and all. And you have to check for lump sum also. Lump sum also DA would be given. So eventually the UPS pension may surpass the NPS pension as DNF relief increases every 6 months and the pensioner continues to receive payments for 15 to 20 years or more. And in any case, the 40% corpus in NPS is not actually received during the subscriber's lifetime. It is used to purchase an annuity and only the monthly pension is provided. So therefore, while choosing a scheme, it is important to consider all these factors carefully before making a decision. And you can play around the numbers for changing the interest rates. For example, if we take 8.5% in NPS and in UPS we keep it as 8.2%, you can see the numbers and you can play around the numbers. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section. I will do my best to help you. If you find this helpful, please like, share and leave a comment. Thank you for watching.